Hello, everyone. Okay, I guess. How can I see how many people are connected? I guess. Okay, let's just give it a minute.
You see where it says recording?
Yes, is that next to
The
it?
number
Or
next to it is the number of people who are in the room.
okay, cool. All right, so
Okay.
I guess we can start. I already see. Thank you. I already see some people here. So yeah, I guess we can start. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Bryam Loaiza. I'm a software engineer. And yeah, I went to NJIT in New Jersey. I graduated a couple of years ago, or well, it's been 8 years already. And thank you for the people that are connecting right now and leaving a message on the chat. Appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks to get ahead in the job market using AI. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. All right. So resume templates. This is one of the most important parts because you still use resumes to get a job, right? You still this is just like a this is something that's non-negotiable. You still need like a resume template, whether you like it or not. Some people maybe present their portfolio as a resume or something like that, but you still need like a PDF resume template. Uh, when it comes to resume templates, it's better if they're boring resume templates. So that's greater than flashy resume templates. And I'll explain why. But in this case, you can see on the left side that we have like it looks boring, right? Visually. But it's very well organized. You know, it has the name, the contact information, work experience, education, and it just reads line by line. If you take a look at the one on the right side, you can see that it has lots of colors. First of all, it's like a big picture here that overpowers everything else. You have two columns, which makes it difficult to read, at least for ATS systems, which they parse like line by line. So this is not ideal. Usually in the US and other places, they don't require like a photo, but in this case, yeah, I'll just put it there for reference, I guess. Okay, so as I was saying, on this flashy resume template, we have like two columns, which is like a parsing issue for most of the software out there. Um, the profile picture, I already talked about this, resume background. And yeah, so these resumes are in abundance on Canva. Like if you go to Canva and be like and type resume templates, you'll see a lot of these resumes. I would recommend not picking those just because of the things that I just explained. There are some that are a little bit more conservative and boring, as I put it. So those are a little bit better, but usually Canva is more like it's for design, right? So you don't want to use it for resumes. At least, I mean, that's my opinion. But yeah, you can take a look. And here you can also see that the skills, you see how they use the 90% here bar. Um, yeah, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but yeah, so that's not gonna parse. And I don't think that's a good measure either. Like 90% of leadership, 90% of communication, 90% of time management. It's not really a way to measure these things, right? Whether you have it or you don't have it. Okay, so these resumes usually don't make the cut. Do you guys see the screen share or not? Because I see that someone just posted that they don't see the screen share. You can see it. Okay. Yeah, maybe try to connect again. I guess, yeah, okay, cool. All right, so now let's talk about this boring resume template. So this one is well organized, as you can see. It has the name, contact information, as I just talked about, work experience, and all of that. Okay, so here, one column that parses just fine. That's usually how it reads, just line by line. It's the same in programming, just go line by line. Profile picture is optional. I didn't include it here. You can include it. It's not like a deal breaker. It depends where you are located. Okay, some people I know in South America they require it. So if they require it, then you have to go with that. Resume background, single color. It has to be white. Just black and white. That's the way to go here. Don't try to impress with different colors. Maybe like a gray, but just try to go black and white. I think that's the way to go. Um, yeah, so as I mentioned here, these templates are less interesting visually. It doesn't have many things, right? But it allows you to actually concentrate on what's important. So this pass these ATS systems easily because, as I said, it just reads line by line. So work experience, company, job title, and all of that. Okay. Also, okay, yeah, I'll answer the. I saw that question about multiple page resumes. I'll answer that for sure. Let me just get through this, but yeah, I'll answer that question. I think that's a very good question, actually. Okay. Um, Professional resume in depth. Okay. So this is the recruiters, they use ATS systems to parse all of these resumes. Okay. So I haven't seen many resume summaries. I would say leave this for LinkedIn. I think it's great when you put it on LinkedIn and you say, like, I'm a software engineer looking for this or doing that, or maybe just promote your things on LinkedIn. But like when it comes to resume summary, it's you have a limited space. So I would recommend having just one page. Currently, my work experience is actually more than this, but I just chose to just remove, like, like the very first work experience, just to keep a one page. I do have more work experience, but I've decided to go with a one page because it's easy to read. uh, I would say if you go everywhere, they will say just keep one page. If you go on Google and be like, my resume needs to be one page or multiple pages, they will just say one page. But there are some places where they say, okay, it's fine. I think this varies depending on the company or like the recruiter. Sometimes you present to them like a multiple page resume and then they say, can you just trim it down, just make it one page or something like that. Other companies, they don't have a problem, they want to see your entire work experience history, so then you can do like multiple pages. But I would recommend having like a resume template that's one page, and one that's multiple page if you have more work experience or more education or you want to put more skills, and then try to test it and see which one works best for you. Okay. All right. So list 2 to 3 bullet points. I would say try to keep it consistent. Don't be like, okay, one bullet point is like 4 lines and then the next bullet point is 1 line. Just try to elaborate. Try to be concise. Don't go over like all the details. Try to include skills and keywords naturally. Don't say something like like programming Python, using a script, I don't know, like, or like web development using Django and use Python. That's kind of it doesn't make sense, right? So just try to make it flow naturally. So say something like, okay, create a lambda functions using Python to connect with SQL. So those two skills, two keywords there are totally fine. And then try to explain what you did. So what did you do? How did you do it? Like which tools you used to do it, and what did you achieve? I think that's enough. So just try to keep that framework. Okay. I'm just going to repeat it one more time. So what did you do? In this case, created lambda functions using Python. Why did you do it? To connect to SQL. To do what? To retrieve data, organize, and send it as emails. What are the technologies you use? So things that, technologies or keywords, Python and SQL in this case. So yeah, just try to go with that. Okay. Let's see. Keywords naturally, talked about that. Resume, one page. Avoid columns at all costs. I already explained why. It's because of the parsing. It also makes it difficult to read for people. So show the impact of your work, and yeah, and the framework that I talked about. Okay. Okay. So this is super important. So this is just like a numbers game. The more you apply, the more chances you have. And at the same time, if you match the job description skills or the skills in the job description, you have more chances to actually match and pass like the ATS systems, and then get to actually the recruiter's hands, so that the recruiters can get to your resume and see, or maybe the next round, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So if you don't have a skill, you don't have to be you don't need like 4 years of doing something to actually put it here. If you know the basics, if you know what it's needed for, like if you, for example, JavaScript, right? So if you know the basics about JavaScript, you built like a website using JavaScript, or just basic thing, just basics, just the basics. Like if you know the basics, I think you can usually list it. They will ask you about it, and then you can talk about your experience. The best way to actually get good at something is just by doing it. So, like if you want to get good at JavaScript or HTML, in this case, I'm talking about coding. I'm a software engineer, but like anything else, right? Excel, Power BI. So if you do projects on Power BI, that's totally different, right? So if you do projects just for yourself, you'll learn a ton. And if they ask you about that, usually they ask the basics. Without the basics, they cannot ask you like advanced stuff. So if you know the basics and know how to explain it, I think it's good, and you can list it here if you want to match like a job description. So this is also like a good opportunity to learn new skills. So if there is like a job that you like and you see in the job description they say they need Power BI, and you've never learned Power BI, so this is like it's a good excuse to learn that skill. Okay. Yeah. So in this case, you can see, sorry, I'm back. Yeah, you can see that the job description has those skills. So I try to match as many as I can or as many as I know without lying. Because if you lie and then they ask you about it and you don't know anything, it's gonna be bad, right? Okay. So what about LinkedIn? Uh, I think as long as you have a complete LinkedIn profile, you can reach more people organically. Usually, I get like a lot of messages, and usually I just post about like I have a software to create like resumes. So usually I just post about that and all other things, and I get just people reaching out and saying like, okay, this project is really cool. I'm a recruiter for this or that. So yeah, just try to if you like something, you're working on projects, just post it, put it out there. I think that's valuable as well. Yeah, for the headline, it can be like a short one. You can put like skills, as I said here, like React, TypeScript, Python, and usually the algorithm reads this and then it shows you also jobs related to that. Yeah, so you can add the links to your projects. I think that's super important. I think like a video tutorial or something that's visual, where we're humans and we're just more accustomed to visual things. So we see something like a video tutorial or like an image. I think that's like better than having just like a long description about what you did. Okay, so like a quick demo, I think that helps. Okay, so if you're looking for a job, I think this job preference. So if you go to your profile, job preferences, then you can see that you have the option to add like the job titles that you're looking for, the location types, where you wanna, like the location physically, where you wanna go or where you wanna work, and this helps a lot the algorithm. So the algorithm will show you based on these job preferences, and then usually I have everything on, even though I'm not looking for on-site roles, but I still have that on. I mean, it's not bad to have it, right? um, yeah, because let's say that you get like a role and the role is, I don't know, 10 minutes from your house, and even though it's on site but you were looking for remote, it's almost the same thing because the commute is like 10 minutes. So it's not bad, right? So just try to have everything on, or because if you put like remote, it's kind of hard to get like a remote job. So then you're caging yourself into this corner. So don't do that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So have your entire work experience listed chronologically, and same as the resume. Have a work experience bullet points. Okay. Same. This you can just copy from your resume and put it on LinkedIn, or vice versa in this case. Um, yeah, so I already talked about this, the settings and everything. Okay, yeah, so here, if you, there is another, this is the open to work thing, right? So if you go to the job preferences, recruiters only, oh no, sorry, the open to work feature, right? So if you go to job preferences, then you'll see it here on the right side, you can see that you also want to have like immediately I'm actively applying, even if you're not full-time, part-time contract, that's really depends on you. Recruiters only, yeah, so you don't want everyone to see what you're up to, right? Because maybe you have a job and maybe you're looking for a different job, but maybe you don't like your job, right? But you don't want, it's gonna look bad on you, right? So maybe, I'm not saying hide things, but in this case that's why the option is there. So I would say job preferences, recruiters only, because those are the people that you actually care about, right? Okay, so yeah, as I said, actively up to work, actively applying. Okay, I talked about this, and yeah, as I said, so like there is nothing wrong with receiving opportunities. looking over them, maybe it's more favorable to you to choose one of those. So in the end, it will be up to you. They're not gonna be like, okay, you start on Monday. You'll still have to go through the process. You'll have to talk to the recruiter, read the job description. So in the end, all the power to you, right? But if you have like a lot of opportunities in your inbox, that's better than not having any, right? Okay. All right. And finally, here are some useful links. So free tools for job searching. These two. This is my website. So this is free. This is completely free. This is for cover letter generator. This is so that you can check your resume and then it will show you the score. And these are some of the places that you can read about like careers. Get more job opportunities in the sense that you can check like what's going on in the market, which skills you should learn. Tech career, of course, here. Prompt engineering, that's something that's kind of new, but not really. So yeah, that's something that's also important. Okay. And yeah, so last thing that I wanted to say, and sorry to do this plug here, but yeah, I have like an offer, so I can give you 10 credits for free, or like as many credits as you desire. It's completely free in exchange just for a quick social review on any platform for my resume builder. I mean, it's not mandatory. If you cannot do it, it's totally fine. I understand. And if you still want the credits because you wanna, build your resume or something, just contact me and we'll arrange something. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Thank you. And I wanted to do like a quick presentation. These are my socials here. It's basically just my name for everything except for Twitter. And I would say I wanted to spend the rest of the time actually answering questions because every case is different. So I think there's a lot of value on answering the questions and not just me talking and presenting, because I also want you to interact with this. So yeah. All right. So I'm just gonna go from the top in the chat. If you have any questions, just put it in the chat and then I'll talk about this. Okay. Right. So hello everyone here. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna go with age-old questions. Okay, okay, yeah. So Michael here asks about like one-page resume or multiple-page resume, right? All experience or just most recent applicable experience. I already talked about this, but yes, I would recommend just having one-page resume. As I said, my resume is also like very long. It will have to be like 2 pages, and I know people that they extend a lot with the work experience, and then it becomes like 3 pages. So, as I said, maybe try to keep one page, most recent applicable experience. I think that's the way to go. But if not, you can try both and then do some testing and see which one works better for you by applying to some jobs and see which ones you get a reply for, right? So yeah, I would say time is limited. So just keep it one page and yeah, just you can just highlight what you did and the most important things and try to keep it short and concise. Okay. And the reason why I say this is because if you go to LinkedIn right now and you look at any job, let me see if they still, I know they don't show it anymore, but yeah, they used to show like how many people apply for that job. And usually jobs that are like 2 hours up on the platform, it says like more than 1,000 or something like that, more than 5,000 or something like that. So that's 5,000 resumes. So you have to make yours very, very uh, interesting, right? So for someone to look at it. So that's why I'm saying like if it's more than one page, that reduces the recruiter's time to actually look at it. Okay. So I keep a master resume with everything on it, but then reduce it to one page whenever. Okay, yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah. So keep a master resume with everything. I think that's a very, very good idea. Thank you, Diego. Yeah, I haven't thought about that. I think that's even better than having two resume templates. If you have just like a master resume, then you can just reduce it whenever, depending on what job you're applying. So if you have to adjust like the work experience, the skills, depending on if it's like a software engineering job or if it's like a prompt engineering job or if it's something completely different, then you can adapt. And this is also good because for me, I was an electrical engineering job. So I was an electrical engineer, sorry. In my resume, I have two resumes, one that's for electrical engineering and one that's for software engineering. So yeah, so it's good to have different templates or maybe just one master. Okay, Doesn't matter where we put the skills section, top page or bottom page. I would say it doesn't really matter too much with the skills. With the work experience, that's like the meat of the resume, right? That's like the main part. So I would say put that at the top. But if not, it's totally fine. You can put the skills at the top as well. I've had the skills at the top for one of my resumes. It's more like trial and error in this case. But yeah, just make sure that the work experience is at the top, and then the skills it can vary, to be honest. Okay. I've heard that some people argue. So the question is, how do you? Okay, I've heard that some people argue that there is no need to tailor a resume to each job. But how do you balance that with trying to match skills for ATS? I would still say that's an important part because that's the only way that they have to filter resumes. So if your resume has something completely different, like maybe you have React, JavaScript, but you're applying for like a Python job, you could still get through because it's software engineering, it's the same thing. But if you don't have those skills, it's like if you don't list those skills in your resume, it's kind of hard to match it, right? And even when the recruiters reach out to you, they tell you, okay, I saw on your resume, that's basically the ATS just gave them the resume saying, okay, this resume matches with this job description, and then they just pick those. And he said, I see that you did JavaScript and React. Can you tell me more about that? But if you have Python instead of those, I don't think that's they will call you. So that's why I'm saying, like, if you have to try to match as many skills as you can, because this is unfortunately all of these go through like an ATS system, which is like automation. We don't have any, there is no like a recruiter that actually looks at 5,000 resumes. It's just, it's not possible, I guess. um okay, let's see. They need, like, in other words, they need a way to actually filter candidates, because otherwise there is so many people that apply to jobs and it's almost impossible that they hire someone. Okay, so it says to scrape qualify. Okay, yeah, there is like Albert, he's saying that he's got like a system to apply to more than 100 jobs in the last 48 hours. So yeah, you can contact him as well. And any old timers out there looking to do your resume after working at one place for 20 years? Is it better to have a PDF version? I think the PDF version is the standard way to go here. Everyone goes with that. Word document, you can have the Word document to do the editing and all of that, but I think the PDF version is what everyone has agreed on. Okay. Can you share your presentation? Yes. Okay. Okay, so Mike says, first of all, can you share your presentation? Yes, you mentioned that the resume should be simple to bypass ATS, but as a front-end engineer, should my resume not be visually striking and express my UI experience? Okay, so I think it still needs to be boring. It still needs to be like just a regular resume. Even if you're a front end engineer, you have to list. I think the skills is more important, because if you have like a flashy resume, that doesn't tell me anything about your front end engineering skills, because I'm not gonna have you at the job, just creating like flashy resumes. I'm gonna have you doing like front end and UI, and it has to look good, of course. But there's like different tests for that, but not necessarily having to show your resume in a flashy way to say that you're a great front end engineer, right? So yeah, just have the right skills, have like a boring resume, but don't have like, I don't know, like a yellow background and then like a green text or something like that, because that doesn't tell me that you're a good front end engineer. Okay. It's in, oh yeah, so it's in the LinkedIn Premium. Before they had it before for everyone. Now I think they just removed it. Okay. Um, let's go there. Okay, it says, yeah, there is no one size fits all. That's true. That's the thing. You have to be editing your resume all the time. Unfortunately, this is like a document that you have to be editing all the time. You have to add skills, you have to remove work experience, add work experience, add more things, projects. It really depends what you're applying for. um, I have like a, and I cannot show you right now, but I'll have to. Yeah, maybe I post it. I'll post it on my X or something. But I've received like a lot of messages from recruiters, and let's say that my job doesn't match right with the job description. They always tell me, and I have messages to prove this. They tell me, can you rewrite your resume, and can you include maybe it's like a Python job, can you include Python, or can you rewrite your resume and can you include this technology? And they just want it to be included, uh, even if I don't have that experience or anything, but maybe I forgot to include it. They looked at my resume and they said, okay, this is a good resume, but I wish it had this keyword or something like that. And I have messages where they tell me, can you rewrite it, but can you include this? And they just want me to include like maybe a one liner saying that I use Python, or like a one liner saying that I use React or Power BI, or things like that. And I have messages. I'll share those as well. I think that's a good post. Okay. I was recently in told for higher level director or higher, it's better to include more of your work experience, awards, and volunteer work, even if it extends to a second. I would say usually like work experience, if it's for like a higher role, I can go with that. But like awards, volunteer work, I would leave that for LinkedIn, to be honest. I don't think that helps a lot when it comes to a resume. I think it's better to have like a good work experience, or like decent work experience, more than an award or something like that. I have awards that say like I was in the robotics engineer team at NJIT or something like that, but I don't know how that's gonna add unless I'm applying for like a robotics engineering role or something like that. And even then, it's people do like those for hobbies and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say work experience. Try to focus on the work experience and the skills a little bit more. And if not, you can have everything, all of those things that you mentioned. You can have it on LinkedIn, and then just point people to your LinkedIn. It's a better way, I guess. Okay, so for students with no work experience, what should be the focus? Be more specific for students. Okay, yeah. So for students with no work experience, I would say projects. Projects is the main thing that you want to do. You want to do like a lot of projects. Currently, I don't have projects on this resume, but my like previous iterations of my resume, I had like 3 4 projects because I didn't have many many entries for the work experience. So then I had like a lot of projects, and actually twice I went for an interview, and then for different companies, of course, different interviews, and they asked me about my projects more than my work experience. And since it was a project that I built, now with software and with AI, it's super easy to actually build anything. You can just go to ChatGPT or just Cursor or whatever you want to use and be like, okay, just have an idea. I don't know. I want to create like a something to apply to jobs, right? So like a scraper or something like that, or like auto applier or something like that. So just create something that's useful, or even something that you need, or something that you want, or whatever comes to your mind, okay, or to your head, and then just put it here. And I think that's super valuable, because then they'll ask you for the projects. They'll say, okay, can you explain this project in depth? And if you built it, then you know how to explain it. You know the ins and outs, and that's going to help a lot. Usually they like that a lot when you have like projects, especially if you're like a software engineer, because then they know that you have the skills to actually put it to work, right? Okay, please reach out. Okay. uh, are you actually getting software engineering jobs via LinkedIn? I've gotten, let's see, yeah, my last 2 jobs, I got them through LinkedIn, to be honest. Yeah, for me, LinkedIn has worked great, to be honest. Um, I always do the easy apply option. I think that's for me, it saves a lot of time. And if there is like a job that I actually like a lot, then um, I just go to the site, because usually they send you to a different site. Then I just put those on the site, and then when I have time, I complete those applications. because otherwise, if you're trying to apply to all of those jobs that are on other sites, it's gonna take a lot of your time. Different type of emails. Okay, yes, I can implement that so that you can sign up. What are SWE jobs? Software engineering jobs, I guess. Okay, yeah. So that's volunteer experience. I'll have to answer the question on employment gap. You can use the volunteer experience to the unemployment gap so that they know that you were doing something, or they see that you were doing something. Okay, it's not like an equivalent. It would be better if you had some work experience, but if that's the case, usually they ask you like why this big gap, so then you'll have to answer. But yeah, you can put that volunteer experience. It doesn't hurt if you have space and all of that. um, okay, so it says I have trouble with the last bullet, show the impact of your work, especially because people always ask about adding data or data stats to the resume, and I don't have that info, nor do I want to make that stuff up. You can show the impact more. That I don't like stats either. I don't like to say I worked on this feature and increased 50% of the conversions or something like that. I rather say like I integrated this payment portal and now people can pay using Stripe or PayPal or something like that, right? I think that shows more impact of your work more than these numbers. I'm not a fan. I see it everywhere that they say just add stats, but then all the resume looks like, okay, I developed this and this increased 50% of the conversions. I helped my team manager and this increased happiness by I don't know 60% or something like that. So then it becomes just like a lot of like percentages. So maybe have one of those, but yeah, I'm not a fan of those either. Like if you can actually clearly and concisely describe what you did, I think that has more impact than having the stats. Okay. um yeah, I think that would be the way to go. All right. Yeah, I think those are all of the questions that I see here. If you want to know anything else or have any more questions, yeah, you can let me know. But yeah, that's all I have for today, to be honest. Yeah, all very good questions. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for watching. I have a question about education. Should you ever leave it out of the degree? Um, okay, so for education, I would say have the education, just because they always ask you about that, or most of the time they ask you where you went to school to, or what's your degree. Um, I've seen people that don't have a degree and they have like a lot of work experience. So in that case, they care more about the work experience than where you actually went to school or if you have a degree. But some places, most of the places, I think they want you to have like a degree. So it's good that you mentioned education. Uh, Sorry, did I miss if you got to? Oh, so is that the question about? Let's see. Oh, the Google account. Yes, I'll implement that. No worries. I'll implement so that you can sign up with something different than Google. Okay. Um. Okay. Yeah. No worries. Thank you as well for tuning in. Yeah, so as of right now, as I said, this piece of paper or like this PDF is the most important part when you apply, because these resumes actually convey everything that you've done, and all the projects that you worked on, all the skills that you have, and it's still needed until something changes. This is the standard. This is how you apply to jobs. This is how you get jobs, and it's like an important step. It's like a key step, and yeah, you need a resume to get a job. To be honest, sometimes you get jobs by referrals and all of that, which also work, but you still need to submit like a resume. Even if you get the job through a referral, they will ask you like, can you maybe just create a resume, maybe just to have it on file or something like that. So you still need a resume. So this is something that you need. Okay, and I think things won't change much, but we'll see what happens. Yeah. Any more questions or uh, that's it? Yeah. Once again, thank you everyone for joining. Everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Like if you have any feedback, just let me know. You can follow me on my social accounts. It's just my name, and on Twitter it's just BALT1794. But yeah, thank you. Otherwise, I think that's it.
Thank you. I see a question from Zoe, actually.
Yes. Yeah. So does using AI for resume raise a red flag with ATS? Uh, it's I don't think it will raise like a red flag unless you're doing the white. What was it called? There's there's like something that AI adds like text to the resume, and they just put like a bunch of skills there, and then they just make the text white. I don't remember exactly what's called, but yeah, that's basically it. So they add just like a lot of skills, and then they just put the text white so you don't see it, and then they just put it over the resume or something like that. That's bad because that I think they can detect that. So don't do that. And then for other things, no, because it's just text. So let's say that you wanna use AI to match the skills with the job description, then it would be just skills. It would be okay. Give me these skills, and then you put those skills on your resume. But that's just like text. That's text that you would have typed anyways. So yeah, no, it doesn't raise a red flag unless you're doing the text with white background or white color. Okay.
Bryam, I want to say thank you. That all of the information you've been given is so important. And I really hope that this helps all of you who are looking to pivot and shift your career and get those resumes in shape to get that bag. I'll note that if you don't have questions for Brian, um, please make sure to join Jessica's session that's currently happening right now to learn a little bit more about, let me make sure I'm not getting this incorrect, the strategic pivot recruiter to fraud analyst with Jessica. If not, there's going to be a really great Salesforce session at 3 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock Eastern, which is 12 o'clock Pacific. So make sure that you join in on that. So you can head over to Jessica if there's no more questions for Brian. If you have more questions for Brian, please feel free to click the join stage and ask questions or do it in the chat. But just making sure you know there's other things happening at the summit. But excited to have you all here.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's see a few more messages here. Yeah, they use AI to create job listings, so it's only fair for us to use AI. Okay, ChatGPT loves to add. Yes, that's another thing. Like, don't use ChatGPT because it adds stuff. Yeah, so you can strip those. There's also like a ChatGPT. There's software that strips those special characters and stuff. But yeah, so don't do that. What's fun is that I used to be in an industry. Yes, yes, I've seen that the white text to resumes. I've seen that a lot. But now there's like resume builders that actually do it for you. So they say, okay, now you're gonna add like this white text, and then just put all the skills that you want. So now it's been implemented into the resume builders. But yes, they do that, and it works. So that's another thing. Like I don't remember, but I saw like an article. Sometime I read an article like a couple of years ago, and it was this like this common practice of adding like white text with all of the skills, and it would pass like all of the ATS. But now they detect those. It would pass all the ATS systems, and that tells you that this is just like a game of like keywords and how much you can match and what percentage you can match of your resume to the job description. So it's become a game. Okay. um how I Okay, so Diego asks about like resume boost AI, um, and how I built it. So I'm an electrical engineer by degree, and I wanted to. Well, then during the pandemic, I discovered software engineering, and then I was like, okay, I really like programming and doing all of this, and now I wanted to switch my career to software engineering, but it was super hard for me. I didn't even have a resume. I didn't know how to make a resume or anything like that. And that's when I decided to do like a project because I didn't have any work experience. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna work on this project, and it's gonna be like a resume builder, and this is gonna help me create my resume, and at the same time it's going to be a project that's going to be in my resume, so then people can see that I actually know how to do something related to software engineering, and then I can do the switch. um, of course it's harder than that. You still need to build like a lot of projects, you still need to apply to a ton of jobs, and to make the switch, and it's super hard if you're one thing and then you put that on your resume, and they and you apply. For example, for me, I'm an electrical engineer, so it says education, a bachelor of science in electrical engineering. So just by having that and applying to software engineering jobs, they won't consider me because I have like the electrical engineering part. But yeah, it's harder for someone who's switching, but it's doable. I did it, so I think anyone can do it. You just have to work extra hard, but you can do it. Yeah, and yeah, it's just like a resume boost AI. Just it was born of a need of how not knowing how to create a resume, and needed like a platform to do this, and something that's affordable. Because if you go out there, and I've done it myself, because those are my competitors, the people that also have like a resume builder, or they also have like a resume builder website, right? And the plans are just super expensive, and this is what I was doing when I was trying to create my resume. They have subscription based plans that start at 30 per month, like $30 per month. And for someone who's like a, I don't know, like a freshman or sophomore, or even if you already graduated, you don't have a job, and to be paying that amount of money, I think it's just way too much. So that's why I just created my own alternative, I guess, and just made it super affordable. No more than $10. It will always stay at $10 because that's just like like a coffee and like a pastry or something like that. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Just if you, yeah, I guess the way to go is to create projects. At least for software engineering, it still works. Like you create like a ton of projects. Maybe for other other like careers, it's different. So like if you are like I mean, even if you're like an accountant, or maybe you do something with Excel or something like that, if you create like automations using Excel, and the formulas and all of that, I think that's still very useful, and that shows that you know Excel. And if you're an accountant, of course, and you want to do projects for accountant um, careers. Um, yeah, it becomes harder depending on other things. Like for electrical engineering, you can create projects with Arduino, Raspberry Pi, physical projects, and then you can just do like a demo, upload it on YouTube, and then you put it on your resume. So that would be the way to go if you're like a electrical engineer. Yeah, what other careers? Yeah, same for finances and stuff like that. If you're an economist or something like that, maybe just create like a spreadsheet that has the, I don't know, like something that has like how, I don't know, like how to manage stocks or something like that. How to, there's different like ideas, different projects that you can create depending on your major. It really depends, up to you. If you're like a teacher or something like that, then you can create like quizzes and stuff like that, and then just put it on your resume or something like that. Everything is useful. Yeah, just I would say create more than what you consume. So I think that's also very useful. Just try to create as much content as you can. Right now, we live in an era that everything is TikTok, everything is just going viral. So unfortunately, whether you like it or not, you have to go with that wave, right? You have to, because otherwise you'll be left behind. So just create, just do TikToks if you have to. That's the way to go, and that's the reality that we live in. So even if you don't like it, I think that's where the world is going. So it's better to ride with it, right, than to live left behind. And yeah, I think I don't see any more questions, so I would assume that that's it for this. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in once again. Um, yeah, you can, if you have more questions or later, something comes up to your mind, then just let me know. You can contact me. And thank you, appreciate it. It's been great, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.